Steel is dying. Aluminum is dying. It sounds like a headline written to grab attention and disappear. But by the time this video ends, you will understand why both of the most important materials of the 20th century just became impossible for Detroit to produce at scale. Xiaomi did not invent a new metal. They built something stranger. 5 engineering systems fused into one car that no Western factory can match. Here is what they actually did. For 100 years, every car you have ever driven has been a lie of fragmentation. Since the Model T, the entire industry has built bodies the same way. You take flat sheets of steel or aluminum, you stamp them into hundreds of small shapes. Then you weld them back together with rivets, bolts, and joints. The rear underbody alone is a chaotic puzzle of more than 70 individual parts held together by over 800 welds. Every weld is a point of failure. Every joint introduces vibration. Every seam fatigues over time. Engineers have known for 50 years that a single-piece cast chassis would be the holy grail. They also knew it was impossible. The wall they could not climb was called the heat treatment paradox. When you cast a massive piece of aluminum into one shape, the molecular structure cools into a brittle mess. To make it strong enough for a car, you have to bake it in an industrial oven at extreme temperatures. But when a part that large is heated, it warps, it twists, it expands in ways that make it impossible to bolt anything else onto it later. For half a century, every metallurgist in Stuttgart, Tokyo, and Detroit ran into the same wall. Make it strong but crooked. Make it straight but weak. Choose one. There was no third option. Western manufacturers eventually accepted this as a law of physics. Xiaomi did not accept it. Instead of hiring more metallurgists to tweak old formulas, they built a simulation system they called the Multi-Material Performance Simulation Engine. This was not a chemist with a notebook. It was a computational model that screened over 10 million different alloy combinations, searching for one that would be strong enough to survive a crash, ductile enough to flow into a complex mold, and stable enough to skip the heat treatment step entirely. They eventually found it. They named it Xiaomi Titan's Metal. It is not a replacement for aluminum, despite the headlines. It is still an aluminum alloy, but it is the first one that comes out of the press already finished, already straight, already at full strength. A miracle metal is useless without a press that can shape it. So Xiaomi built one. They call it the die-casting T9100. Co-developed with Haitian die casting in Ningbo. It covers 840 square meters of factory floor. It weighs more than 1,000 tons by itself, and it exerts 9,100 tons of clamping force when it closes. That is 100 tons more than the largest press Tesla operates in Texas, and roughly 50% more than the original 6,000-ton Giga press in Shanghai. In a single cycle of 100 seconds, this machine takes molten Titan's metal at extreme pressure, fires it through precision injection channels into a steel mold, and produces a part that used to require 72 separate components. 840 individual weld points are deleted in that one cycle. The finished rear underbody weighs 17% less than the welded version. Road noise inside the cabin drops by around 2 decibels because there are no joints to vibrate, and total production time falls by 45%. But raw casting is only valuable if every part comes out perfect. In a traditional plant, a flawed weld might not be caught until the car is already on the road, which is how class action recalls happen. Xiaomi removed the human inspector entirely. Every part that exits the T9100 enters a foundation model quality system trained on millions of casting images. High-resolution laser sensors map the entire surface of the casting and compare it to the digital twin in real time. Industrial X-ray imaging looks deep into the molecular interior of the Titan's metal, hunting for microscopic air bubbles invisible to the eye. The full inspection completes in 2 seconds per part. That is 10 times faster than a human inspector, and unlike a human, it runs on every single component without fatigue. If anything fails by a fraction of a millimeter, the casting is rejected and melted down for recycling. This is aerospace-grade scrutiny applied to a mass-market sedan at full production speed. Once the chassis is essentially one piece of perfect metal, you face the next problem in every electric vehicle ever built: the battery. In almost every electric vehicle currently on sale, the battery pack is treated as an intruder. It is a heavy rectangular box bolted to the underside of the car like a suitcase strapped to a roof rack. Dead weight that provides energy but adds nothing to the structure. Engineers then have to add more steel just to protect it. Xiaomi decided to stop treating the battery like a passenger and started treating it like a bone. This is their CTB technology, cell to body. The battery cells are integrated directly into the chassis itself. The top cover of the battery pack is the floor of the passenger cabin. That integration solved a safety problem that has haunted every EV designer for a decade. Every lithium cell has a pressure relief valve. In rare overheating events, the valve vents hot gas to prevent an explosion. In conventional cars, those valves point upward toward the passengers, forcing engineers to pack heavy fireproof insulation between the cells and the floor. Xiaomi flipped every single cell upside down. The valves now point at the road instead of the cabin. The bottom of the car becomes the primary shield. By removing those insulation layers, the entire battery plus floor assembly drops to 120 millimeters thick. It is the thinnest structural battery pack in production anywhere. The result of all of this is a number that should not be possible in a 4-door sedan. The torsional stiffness of the chassis is over 50,000 Newton meters per degree of twist. To translate that into something useful, a Ford F-150 Raptor, a truck built to land jumps in the desert, sits around 25,000. The Bugatti Chiron, a $3 million hypercar, lands around 50,000 as well. Xiaomi built a 4-door sedan more than twice as rigid as a trophy truck and roughly on par with a Chiron. When the frame is that solid, everything else changes. The suspension stops compensating for body flex. The tires stay flat against the pavement in hard corners. The car feels carved from a single block of metal because structurally it nearly is. And there is one consequence almost nobody talks about. In a flexible chassis, every LiDAR sensor and every camera vibrates a few microns out of alignment under load, which forces the autonomous driving software to spend processing cycles filtering out the body's own motion. On a chassis this rigid, the sensors are effectively mounted to a block of granite. The compute platform stops fighting the car and starts fighting the road. That rigidity is the only reason the Ultra trim can use what it uses. The Hyper-Engine V8's motor spins at 27,200 revolutions per minute. Most high-performance electric motors give out around 20,000 because the centrifugal force at higher speeds will literally tear the rotor apart. Xiaomi wrapped the rotor in carbon fiber to hold it together. In the Tri-Motor Ultra configuration, the result is 1,527 horsepower in a 4-door sedan. If you tried to put that power through a welded chassis, the joints would shear apart within a year. With the cast structure underneath, the power has somewhere to go. This is where the 2026 update changes the conversation. The original SU7 launched in 2024 with the casting cluster, the Titan's metal alloy, and the cell-to-body battery. Those three systems are the foundation. In March of 2026, Xiaomi unveiled the Dragon chassis facelift, which transformed the platform from a fast sedan into something the legacy industry was not prepared for. The body structure now uses 2,200 megapascal ultra-high-strength steel in an integrated roll cage, up from the 2,000 megapascal door impact beams on the outgoing model. That grade of steel was previously reserved for nuclear submarines and aerospace landing gear. The Hyper-Engine V6's Plus motor spins to 22,000 revolutions per minute on every trim, up from 20,000 revolutions per minute. The electrical architecture moved to 800 volts across the entire lineup, with the Standard and Pro models running a 752-volt system. The Pro variant claims 902 kilometers of range on the CLTC cycle. Every variant ships standard with LiDAR, 4-dimensional millimeter wave radar, and NVIDIA's Thor U compute platform rated at 700 TOPS, consolidating infotainment and autonomous driving onto a single chip. 9 airbags, a triple redundant door unlock mechanism so passengers cannot get trapped after a crash. Dual-chamber air suspension with continuous damping control and a predictive function that reads the road ahead. The rear tires widened from 245 millimeters to 265 millimeters. The standard model swapped floating brake calipers for fixed 4-piston units. 15,000 orders were placed in the first 34 minutes the configurator went live, starting at 219,900 yuan, roughly $31,870. And then there is the Nürburgring. On October 28, 2024, after 3 previous attempts canceled by heavy rain, the SU7 Ultra prototype finally got a single 1-hour window between bookings. The car ran the full 20.9-kilometer Nordschleife in 6 minutes and 46.874 seconds. That was faster than the Porsche Taycan Turbo GT and faster than a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. The lap was timed with calibrated equipment, the vehicle was inspected, and the result was notarized by Nürburgring officials before being published. In June of 2025, the same prototype came back under better conditions and lapped it in 6 minutes and 22.091 seconds, an improvement of 24 seconds in one season, putting it in 3rd place on the all-time Nordschleife leaderboard, next to the Mercedes AMG 1 and the Porsche 999 Hybrid Evo. 2 months before that, in April of 2025, the road legal production version, with carpets, glass, and full interior trim, ran a 7-minute, 4.957-second lap. That beat the Rimac Nevera and made it the fastest production electric vehicle in history. 3 records, 3 different drivers, 3 notaries, all officially logged in the Nürburgring's public record. And then there is the question of repair. People ask, if there are no welds and no joints, what happens when you crash it? Xiaomi engineered specific replaceable energy absorption zones into the cast structure. These sections are designed to sacrifice themselves in low-speed impacts, and they can be swapped out using a cold bonding process that restores the original strength. They did not just build a car for the showroom, they built one that can be fixed. This is the part Western manufacturers do not want to talk about. Owning any one of these technologies is not enough. To build the Dragon chassis, you need the Material Genome Simulation Engine, the T9100 Hypercasting Cluster, the Titan's metal alloy, the cell-to-body battery integration, and the 2,200 megapascal steel roll cage. All 5, fused into one continuous production line that can output a finished car roughly every 76 seconds. Detroit's Big 3, Ford, GM, and Stellantis, along with Toyota, Volkswagen, BMW, and the German premium brands, together own exactly 0 of those 5 at scale. Tesla has the Giga-casting piece. CATL and BYD have parts of the battery integration. Nobody outside Xiaomi has all 5 running on the same factory floor. To get there, the legacy manufacturers would have to demolish existing stamping plants worth tens of billions of dollars in sunk capital, retrain a generation of engineers who learned welding instead of die casting, build their own AI material simulation infrastructure from scratch, sign new long-term contracts with rare earth refiners they do not currently control, and convince shareholders to accept 7 to 10 years of low margins while they retool. That is not a 5-year project. That is a $1 trillion civilizational pivot, and the clock has already been running since 2024. There is one more thing the legacy industry cannot match. Because the T9100 molds are digital first, parameters like wheelbase length, track width, and suspension mounting geometry can be adjusted by updating the digital file that drives the press. Xiaomi does not need a new factory to launch a sedan, an SUV, or a wagon variant. They change the parameters of the Titan's metal injection, and the same line produces a different shape. In the old world, a car generation lasted 7 years because tooling changes were too expensive to amortize faster. In the Dragon chassis world, the hardware refresh cadence starts to look like a software cadence. The 2026 update arrived 24 months after the original 2024 launch, with deeper changes than most legacy brands manage in a full model generation. While Stuttgart and Detroit are still costing out whether to use steel or aluminum for the next platform, Xiaomi is already simulating the next alloy. So what actually died here? It was not aluminum, it was not steel. Both are still in the car, just in forms the rest of the industry cannot economically produce. What died is the Western manufacturing philosophy itself. The idea that you assemble a car from thousands of parts sourced from hundreds of suppliers, joined together by welds and bolts, refined slowly over a 7-year cycle by a committee that has spent its entire career protecting the previous platform. That philosophy is now in direct competition with a system that prints a chassis every 90 seconds, designs its own alloys with a simulation engine, validates every part with X-ray AI, and updates its hardware on a software cadence. The Xiaomi 2026 Dragon chassis is not the breakthrough. It is the proof that the breakthrough already happened in 2024, while Detroit was still arguing about how to build the next generation of stamping presses. If you made it this far, hit subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next.